Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Heal Yourself podcast. Today you have Kira and Denise, and we're talking about two fun subjects that tie together personality and identity.
Ooh, I know when we thought about it, because I was like, are they the same? Like to me, identity is more abstract. Personality
Mhm.
is like everybody talks about person. Like if you tell somebody personality, they are going, I think, to understand it more than when you say identity. Some people will like, what are you talking about?
And I when I left you a message, to me, they are still different, but they're together and maybe they are the same. We're just presenting them as different ways. So I want I want you to tell me, what do you think of with personality? Because when I think of that, I'm like, oh, this person's nice, or you have a quiet personality, and that's it. And it's like, okay, well, what does that have to do with healing? So I know you were doing some reading or something with Wayne Dyer. It was
No,
somebody.
Joe Dispenza, Joe
Okay,
Dispenza.
okay, okay.
I switch, but you know how I am. I go back and forth between like mentors and stuff like that. And recently, I've been resonating a lot with Joe Dispenza. And what really, I am going through some rough patch right now. So what really resonated with me is because I have heard the identity shift. But to me, and again, I'm gonna be very transparent, very honest. English is not my first language, right? And I'm an immigrant. So I came into the country when I was 17 years old and I speak four languages, right? So there would be some like what does that mean? Like whatever. So to me, identity was really abstract. So if I'm going to tell somebody like who is 20 or 21 years old, in order to heal, you gotta change your identity and shift your identity. They're gonna probably look at me like what are you talking about? But personality, right? Because it's more mainstream, right? So Dr. Joe Dispenza says your personality creates your personal reality.
Mm.
Okay, your personality creates your personal reality. So if you're not loving your personal reality, you got to change that personality. And to me, personality is yes, someone being nice, someone being kind, but it also to me feels like the personality, because you know how like sometimes they'll tell you like if someone gets mad right away, they're like, well, this is just me. That's my personality.
Mm.
Or they overreact, or I don't know, they overgive, for example, like they overly give and they don't replenish. Oh, that's my personality. I'm a giver, right? So to me, this is what I understand, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, wait a minute. So changing my personality to change my personal reality is also changing the way I react to things, the way that I speak, the way that I use the words, and the way that I stay within my truth, I believe. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, that's how I interpret it with my own
Yeah.
language differences because someone who's an immigrant and is exposed to several languages, there is a subtlety in understanding the languages and the
Yeah.
vocabulary and to interpret it. Does that make sense? You're
It does.
English teacher, ma'am.
It does. And the thing is maybe there is a subtle difference. I don't even care at this point. You know what I mean? Like the point is we want to share with you this aspect that's so important. And I view it as identity. And I'll tell you guys what I think because again, we might be speaking the same language, just, differently, whatever. But to me, identity is like, who am I being? So like, I'll use myself as an example. Years ago, I identified as someone who had IBS, right? It's not like I would lead with that. I wasn't proud. In fact, that was embarrassing. I didn't just tell people, hey, I have IBS. Nice to meet you. But it was like that was a big piece of my identity. I identified as someone who dealt with ongoing digestive issues, right? And that would play a role in how I showed up in the world. Well, I don't know if I can schedule this event because what if digestive issues kick in and I have to run to the restroom? It's going to be embarrassing. Or, I mean, I can use an example. I've been honest about this one too. I am a recovering perfectionist. Like, I could be saying, I'm trying to set boundaries, but I have to rewrite that identity. I have to become a person who has boundaries because if I'm showing up in the world as someone who still doesn't have boundaries, but I'm saying, well, I'm trying to set them, it doesn't work. So I do think we're saying the same thing. And this is such an important topic because everyone listening is on some type of healing journey, whether it's physical body, emotional, whatever. You cannot change until you change at the identity or personality level. You have to.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then, and you and I have talked about it, especially that we've been doing the work because sometimes like yes, we want to Amazon Prime everything and we have been doing the work since 2018, you and I, 2018, 2019. And just recently I told you I finally achieved emotional intelligence among chaos. I finally
Hmm.
can stand in my truth. But how did I achieve that? That's not overnight, right? So same thing. I talked to my daughter about it yesterday. So I'm going to talk about, like it's the subtlety of like doing the work, showing up and doing it little by little. And some days you're not going to be able to show up. And some days you are going to maybe react differently or like the old ways or whatever. But it will all click the more that you do the work little by little every single day. And then you're like, wait a minute. Wow, like I can definitely
Hmm.
right now be in my truth and be and say things differently or react differently or not react because I have been doing the work. It will come like, it will come back to you. It's just that it takes time and it takes you showing up every single day. You can't just say, well, I have been meditating for a year.
Yeah.
I've been journaling for a year and a half and things are not happening. But guess what? The work is not going to waste because it will solidify and it will come to fruition the more you do it and you show up. But I do also want to mention, I was telling my daughter the same thing because she kept saying, she beats herself up a lot about dancing and we're talking about it yesterday and we kind of like were able to like be a little bit truthful and I told her I said but you also like right now just about a year or two ago you decided to focus more in the dance classes, you decided to put more effort in, so you can't expect the improvement to happen overnight because guess what, all throughout the other years you weren't as focused, you
Hmm.
weren't as determined, you were fooling around sometimes in classes, you were socializing more than you were paying attention, and then you look around, you're like, wait a minute, why am I still right here? It's because now you decided to put in the effort, and guess what, it is going to take time, but don't give up. And that's another thing, a lot of people give up before they see the fruits.
Hmm.
So it is.
And they didn't adopt that personality or identity, right? So when I first heard that term, like, I think it was around money, right? Like, you want to create wealth, have the identity,
No, you just got to
act,
collapse time.
you,
Kira.
or act as is. And I'm like, so am I supposed to walk into a store and buy like something really expensive? Like, I didn't understand that. It was abstract. But even with what you're saying about your daughter, if she identified as a dancer, right? If that was her personality, I'm going to use the terms interchangeably. How would she show up in the world? If she was like, I'm an amazing dancer, she would be responsible, committed, integral, like showing up for these, practicing all the time. It's the same thing in every aspect of your life, right? I'm not just going to say health here. It could be in your finances, your relationships. Like, how am I showing up? Do I say every day, oh my gosh, I feel so sick. What am I going to do? Do I need another supplement? Do I need to go see another doctor? You are identifying as a sick person.
Absolutely. And I think I found a little subtle difference because same thing when you were saying if I'm showing up as I'm an amazing dancer,
Mm-hmm.
and what do the amazing dancers do? They practice, they show up, they try, da, 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 etc. Same thing with health. Let's talk about health. If you're saying, let's say you want to say, oh, I need to drink a lot of water. That's not an identity shift.
No.
However, when you identify, I'm a healthy person. What
Mm-hmm.
does a healthy person do? Well, a healthy person drinks water. A healthy person eats whole foods. A healthy person walks or whatever or exercises, etc. Or like you, for example, with the boundaries, I am going to show up, or like for example with me, I am going to show up as an entrepreneur, as someone who owns the company versus because I contract with schools, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they may view you as an employee and you're not. So I am showing up. I am a business owner. So it's not just in my words, it is in the
Actions.
actions and how I talk to people and how I present myself in meetings, etc. So I feel there is a difference between the identity versus personality, right? So the identity is who the core, like I am a healthy person. I am a person who has boundaries. I am abundant. An abundant person. I'm not talking abundance like having millions in the bank. No, you can be abundant. I mean, you have food in the fridge, you have a car, you have a cell phone, etc. You are abundant. You look outside and you see flowers. You are abundant. So if you're showing up as an abundant person, how does an abundant person think? How does an abundant person talk? Right? And then you have that personality where we're used to, like, the impulse or the emotions or how we react to things. So that will be part of the personality, that can be shifted when you identify with that new identity shift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of I'm a sick person, I have IBS, I'm
Hmm.
a healthy person. Because I'm a sick person, I have IBS, how do you show up? You're gonna make excuses, you're not gonna go to your friend's event because guess what? You may flare up, right? But when you
Yep.
say I'm a healthy person, you're gonna show up differently in the world.
Yep.
Hence, this will affect the personality and how you also react to things and how you present things and how you talk to others and to yourself.
And
I just
yeah,
came up with that. Wow.
well, and that's the thing. We already know thoughts, emotions, all that creates our reality. So if we're identifying as this sick person, as this broke person, as whatever it might be, whatever these stories are, you're going to keep attracting that back because your thoughts and your emotions and all that create your reality. And the thing is I want to go back to the act as if because I heard that a lot years ago. It's not an overnight thing. Like, I'll use your daughter as an example again with dancing. She's not just going to, for 1 week, be like, I'm so committed. I'm going to show up and I'm going to be an amazing dancer next week. It is an ongoing process with little baby steps. Just like if you've been chronically sick, I don't expect you to overnight be like, I'm so healthy. You're not going to believe that. Like, why on earth would you believe that if you felt like crap for decades? But it's little tiny things of I am committed, I am responsible, I'm going to show up and I'm going to tell myself I am working on being a healthy person. So those words matter. And I know we've done episodes on this, but then it's the little shifts that go with that that change the identity of, okay, if I am that healthy person, how do I show up in the world? How do I act? How do I treat others? You can start to make those subtle shifts without being like, oh yeah, I feel really freaking amazing right now.
Right, and I love how you're touching base on that because act as if it can get interpreted and perceived differently. And
Yeah.
same with me, I didn't understand it, but I just love the way that you explained it. Acting as if is not like, oh, so I'm acting as if I'm rich. I'm gonna go to Cartier and then buy something and put it on the credit card. That's not acting as if, right? Because it can be misinterpreted. But I really love that the way that you explained it, and it does. Exactly, and nothing happens overnight. Nothing happens overnight. Exactly. You can't just expect yourself to be healthy or eat healthy for a week.
Mm-mm.
And like, guess what? My chronic conditions all went away. And I mean, if people say that, like, I mean, I don't know, but you don't know what that's happening because you do have the testimonials, like, oh, I started meditating, I went to this event, and everything, got better. I get that, but maybe they've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes before they got to the event, right?
And
So,
it depends on the stories and the instances, right? The trauma, all of those things leading up to that. If you had a crap ton of stories from generations, good luck. One session of meditation is probably not gonna not gonna do much. Sorry, I
exactly.
interrupted you.
Yeah. No, 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 no. You did it. It's fine. No, I love how we're doing that because it's how we build. And I really love how we do things because we do come from different backgrounds, different
Mhm.
experiences, and we bring all that in to the podcast and to how we interpret things. Because guess what? What we're saying has been said. It's not like we're saying like things that are new. However, we're saying how we are applying it to our own experiences. And it does take time. I'm telling you, like, I swear, how many times have I told you I want to achieve peace among chaos? I really
Yeah.
want to. And I've been working on my mindset on myself since 2018. And it was never linear, like, oh, I'm going up, up, up. It was all over the place. But finally, I reached a place where wow, there's chaos happening around me and I'm not losing my emotions and my control. I mean, like sometimes I
And
may,
you're human, right? We're never gonna be
absolutely.
perfect.
However, I'm bringing back myself to balance right away.
Mhm.
Like it's so phenomenal to be like, I don't know how to explain it, but it just everything is clicking. But they didn't start clicking, so I cannot come and say, "Oh, it's just clicking. Everything is great. I like I'm peaceful among chaos, whatever." But I need to tell our listeners that it's been years
Mhm.
of showing up, of doing the work, of and hating the work and yelling at the work and be like, what the heck is going on? Why can't it happen? And then you listen to other podcasts and other people, oh, life is roses and daisies, which is great. Yes, life is roses and daisies, but you are putting in the work, you're putting in the effort little by little, these small shifts, small shifts, small shifts. And that's why we're talking about the not giving up,
Yep.
because a lot of people be like, fuck it, I've been eating healthy. Right? How many of your clients may do that, right? Oh, I've worked with Kira or I've worked with several practitioners and I've done everything.
But they were not healthy at an identity level. I'm just throwing
I
that in
throw the towel.
there.
Exactly. But that's another thing. Sometimes a lot of us, you and I have done it before. We have given up maybe before fruition comes in, but then we were like, we talked amongst each other and whatever. But it's really, really important to just stay on your path. And I believe determination and not giving up on yourself is something that this is true self unconditional love.
Mhm.
Loving yourself even when you are betraying yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell myself. Even when I find myself betraying myself, I just always say, I love you. I love you so much. I know that I did this. Please forgive me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do better in the next moment, because life is moment by moment, and that's how you make the shift. It's not, oh, I'll start on Monday, I'll start on Tuesday, I'll start on New Year's Day or whatever, which is great, but those don't get you any. I mean, yeah.
Eh, yeah.
I mean, they do, like, for a little bit, but you gotta put in the effort every single day, and even when you achieve it, guess what? You're gonna want more.
Yeah. And then you dig deeper, and that's how we got into shadow work. And the identity thing is a daily thing. Like I had a sticky note on my laptop for the last 12 months. No joke. It's finally gone, but it said, "Am I being?" And that was me reminding myself at an identity level for everything I'm doing. Who do I want to be in this world? And do I have the identity that matches what I'm after? And many times it was no.
Absolutely. And I know you and I leave messages to each other
Mhm.
all the freaking time, like I do understand. Sometimes I know with you, you want to, boundaries is a big thing for you, and you had a situation just recently, not too long ago, and we talked through it. And again, you examined, what am I being, etc.
Mhm.
So it's really, really important to constantly analyze it, to constantly, also to constantly, like, really look within and take accountability, because at the end of the day, it is all you. It is all you. It's all you.
It is. And that's what I was going to say is whatever your goal is, and don't have 5,000 goals, right? It's not to be rich. It's not to have amazing relationships. It's not to be healthy. Like pick one thing right now that would make your life better. And that's where you start with identifying how's my personality around that? And is my identity matching the person that needs to be to get that
Yeah.
result, if that makes sense?
And forgive yourself when
Yeah.
you react,
Mhm.
like the old personality. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Forgive yourself, because what we do sometimes, we dwell over it. Like, oh my goodness. Like, for example, my daughter. Let's go back to my daughter. Oh my goodness, mommy. I put in so much effort. I tried, and I'm like, but you just, like, literally started practicing like 2 days ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, like, it is important to also remind yourself and be graceful throughout, right? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, fine, I fucked up this time, I forgive myself. However, I'm going to try and always do it moment by moment, because our life is present moment. It is now. And I know we've talked about it. We have an episode about that. But it's literally the moments. If you're driving in the car and let's say you want peace, right? And then you're driving, and then someone does something, and you freaking have the road rage, right? So reacted as your old personality. I know you and I do that all the time. But if this is, something like, for example, I'm working on peace. I'm like, okay, fine, you cut me. Okay, okay, God bless you, right? Instead of
The middle
going
finger.
I know. Instead of, I dropped the microphone. Instead of going into the road rage, like this is a simple example, right? Or for example, let's say you are identifying, you're changing your identity about I am healthy, which is basically showing up and eating, drinking water, exercising, eating whole foods. And let's say, guess what? You go to the movies and you eat nachos, right? It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like go forgive yourself. But a lot of us, what we do is we beat ourselves down so much that what is it, which I don't know what I'm trying to say, but we beat ourselves so much that we counter what we
Mm,
are actually working on. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's fine, I get it, you ate the nachos, okay, fine, move on, get
Sometimes
over.
healthy people eat nachos. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, and I feel that sometimes, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kira, because everybody on the Instagram, I just say Instagram,
I love it. We have a new term over here.
on the internet, on social media, they're portraying these beautiful, like, oh, the jets and the health and the relationships and the this. I know you're rolling your eyes,
Hmm.
but I feel like, I mean, but again, I'm not saying they don't have, but I'm saying, guess how much work they've done to get there.
Yeah.
So don't compare your day one to their 100 or 200. Like everybody talks about Mr. Beast. And like, dude, he even is going on energy saying he freaking was posting every single day and no one was watching. But guess what? He did not give up. He did
Yeah.
not give up and he kept going and he kept going. Even when no one's watching, even with us, look at us. Even if no one's listening, guess what? You
We're
and I
still
are
here.
still showing up and are still recording. You know what I mean? Let's say whether we even have one listener or one download, we celebrate that because this one download could lead to more and more and more. And we still showing up. We didn't say, oh, you know what? I give up.
Yeah.
We only had, this amount in a year. We are doing something wrong, Kira. We need to stop. We didn't. So that's really important to just continue.
Yeah.
Stay on your freaking path and it's your path.
Well, and you guys know, Denise is usually the one with the short, actionable tips, but I've got a few things for shifting this because it does sound obscure to change your personality or your identity. And I know that there's a subtle difference, that's fine. But I think you've got to recognize how to do that. So, my first thing is, again, figure out what that identity is, right? If you're working towards optimal health, how would I show up in the world if I am a healthy person? So, first thing is awareness. Like, catch what you're telling yourself. Oh my gosh, I'm always sick. Oh, I always feel like crap. I hate my body, whatever it is. Like, catch that and then ask yourself questions. And I know we've touched on this before, but is that true? Like, is that true? You're always going to be sick for the rest of your life? Does that serve you? And then start to shift who can that future self be, right? For some of you, you might be like, I'm already eating healthy and drinking the water, Denise. I'm doing all the things, but your mind might not be there because you're always going back to the I'm sick. I feel like shit. I hate my body, whatever it is. So you have to look at if I was healthy,
Even
how
in joking, I want to mention, even if
yes,
you're
even joking.
joking, yeah.
So, how would I show up in the world? How would I talk to myself? How would I talk to others? What would I do with my day? So, it doesn't just have to be, oh, it's the healthy eating. No, think through what that would be. Like, who would you need to be and show up as? And keep doing that. And then sometimes there needs to be some integration. Sometimes you really need to work on the nervous system if you've been on overdrive because that is the state of your body and you got to shift it out. Sometimes you got to journal. Sometimes you got to walk, like Denise and I always talk about. Sometimes you need an accountability buddy, like something. But you got to work through these steps to start to shift at that identity and personality level.
My tip is I love yours, and definitely this is the first step. And because we always talk, and not just us, our subconscious level, it is a negative bias, right? I'm not the only one who said that. And,
Hmm.
and our subconscious is 95% of our, reality.
Reality.
So the quick actionable steps, you're going to sleep anyway, right? So choose whether it's subliminal messages or night meditations that are working on those values,
Hmm.
and just listen to that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're gonna sleep anyway. You're gonna fall asleep anyway, whether you want to put the headphones in your ears, or I know Kira doesn't like that, or you want to just put it on Alexa or put it in your room. But I understand, because if you're sleeping with a partner or with the kids or something, we don't know what your situation is. You can definitely have get healthy headphones, like Kira said. I use AirPods, so I'm not going to pretend that I don't. And I know she's shaking her head. But I really think this definitely, because it's behind the scenes that you're not even thinking about, because
Yeah.
you're already sleeping. It's and a lot of them are free on YouTube, so you do not need a fancy app. And then just look up, whatever you are working toward, whether it is, more peace, abundance, whatever. And I am going to also touch base on, so this is a very actionable step that you can do while you're sleeping, that you don't even have to think about it, and then it start, but don't think it's happening overnight. It is going to take time. And yeah, and you said the awareness, this one, and I wanted to say another one, but I totally forgot.
That's okay. One thing I will, one of my last things I'll say is you mentioned self love, and I do think that's important. So I want to remind you guys if you're really struggling to shift at the identity level or the personality, there is a disconnect there with the self love. Go back and listen to episode 2, which is all about self love. And Denise was talking about subliminal. I don't have subliminal. However, I do have a free self love hypnosis download. So you
Yes.
could totally download that and listen to it twice a day for several weeks as a way to start to reprogram. And that will make things easier to shift at the identity level.
Yeah. And then, but please don't work on everything at once.
Nope.
Oh,
Can't do
I
it.
remember. I remember what I wanted to say. It's also the emotions, right?
Mhm.
So the emotions are, triggering. So I know we recorded a lot on emotions.
Yes.
So another actionable step is whatever you want to feel, like, let's say peace, abundance, etc., etc. Start practicing these emotions, even if it is once a day. Closing your eyes, putting your hand on your heart, and taking a few deep breaths. Because also this is free. It doesn't require any apps. And then just what if you're working on, having joy or peace no matter what, or whatever the emotions you want to achieve, just close your eyes for a little bit, have a few deep breaths, and say, what does feeling joy feel like?
Mm.
What does feeling peace feel like? And just imagine it through the breaths. So what you're doing also, you are interrupting, and you are teaching your body as well what it feels like to be joyful, what it feels like to be peaceful, etc., etc. And I cannot stress enough. I've been working on that piece for a long ass time, girl, for a long ass time. And eventually, once things get rolling, I will talk about it very openly. However, I cannot stress enough. I've been working on it for so many years, and now there is
Yeah.
plenty of chaos around me, plenty, and you know that. And but deep down, I am so peaceful, and I'm so in tune to the divine, to
Mm.
God, that every time I start messing with my brain, the analytical one, every time the analytical brain and analytical mind kicks in to convince me otherwise, something happens in my reality to show me that, guess what? You're on the right path, honey.
Hmm.
Literally, literally. And I've wished for that. I wished for that. I would hear people say that, oh, God is speaking to me, or I can feel it. I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it every single time the analytical mind comes in to convince me otherwise, which right now I call it the devil, because in each one of us there's a God and
Hmm.
there's a devil. God kicks in right away in the mysterious ways. But why? I'm aware and my eyes are open.
Yeah. Oh,
So
I love that.
but that took years and
Yeah.
years of showing up and not giving up. But it was not linear. It was up and down.
Which is
So
how healing is.
right. And but
Yeah.
I definitely want to like share this, because you and I, like, sometimes you and I would say we've been doing the right things, we've been doing everything. Like, what is not happening?
Give it
You know what I mean?
time.
It will happen. It will
Hmm.
happen. So it kind
Well,
of gives me like, please, like, whenever you're looking at social or listening to people on podcasts that they tell you so many things, just like us, just know that behind the scenes, we did a lot of work, a
yeah.
lot of painful work. So,
Okay,
mic drop.
guys. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's emotional, but it's, I mean, yeah. I love talking about this. And we didn't even look at the script. I don't even know where we're gonna say something.
We never have a script, guys. We might have some bullet points on a, yeah. But
But we
yeah,
ignore them,
I
like all.
mean, you guys know the drill. We are found through reviews, and I didn't realize
Yes,
that. So I just want to reiterate that
please.
we would love, if this resonates with you, we would love a 5-star review. We would love your words on there with it.
Yes, yes.
And then find us on Instagram. I know we're not great about our Instagram page, but leave us a
Oh,
message.
that's
Let
an
us know.
identity. Look at that. I caught you with identity. We are
Sorry,
great with our
wasn't gonna lie, but but I'm owning it.
Yeah, right. We're owning it. We're taking accountability. Yeah,
But
no,
we're on
exactly.
there and we're active
Yeah,
and we read messages.
yes,
So if there's
yes.
any topic you want us to discuss or bring an expert in, please let us know. And then I know we keep, subtly dropping some hints about
Hmm.
something coming. It is. It's
It's
just,
coming.
it's coming.
It's just life. I mean, you're homeschooling your kiddo. This is
Hmm.
something new to me. I'm going through something, really also new to me. So it will take time, but we are working on it. We're talking about it and we are going to put it out in the world. But please, meanwhile, especially with today, download Kira's Self-Love Hypnosis. It is free.
Yep.
Get it done. We also are working on like a landing page for our podcast so we can start notifying you of good things. But
Hmm.
yes, please, 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 if you resonate with this, send it to a friend, leave us a review with your words because it will, kind of, because a lot of, like you and I are so real, I feel that more people can connect with us because we're not coming from the like, oh, look at
Yeah.
me,
I am
so
mighty.
I'm almighty.
Okay,
So
guys.
thank you.
See you on the next episode.